his hotel over the weekend.
Really?
Yeah. So I just want to say I called it. I told you he was forcibly removed.
Well, I mean, at least it wasn't like, seriously, at least it wasn't like drunk driving or something.
Yeah,
like
at least
that.
it wasn't a DUI.
That just seems. Well, I guess when you're a face of a network, you're always in the public, you know.
Well, and all we know, it was a shouting match. We don't know with whom, for what, why. Maybe it was Dick Ebersol, the guy who runs NBC. I mean, you yell at your boss, you're probably going to get some sort of punishment.
Wow, kudos to your dad. Wow.
Yeah, I guess he really wanted to find out. I hadn't even noticed. I hadn't bothered to look myself.
Well, you had a theory that if it was something like family or sickness, that they would have been like, he's dealing with family.
They would have said it was a family issue and left it at that. And they would have also mentioned him on the broadcast. That was the thing that really sealed it for me. They did not. They usually do. They completely ignored the fact that he wasn't there.
Because they usually do. Yeah, very interesting.
Okay.
For that.
All right, that was good. That was good, Chris. That was a half hour right there. Way to get her done.
I feel like I seriously feel like it showed a little bit that I was like even more enthused about this race.
I think there was a lot to talk about because there was a lot that happened.
Yeah,
that's the way I choose to look at it.
Well, then let's hope that can. Well, I know next week it's gonna be the same thing.
Oh, there's probably like the big one, all that stuff. But anyway, so as I noticed that we have about a month until training camps start to open. Hallelujah in the NFL. And in that time, in about a month, we are going to do 8 shows. So I figure this is the perfect time for us to break down for our listeners, our listening audience, week by week, each division in the NFL. And I think it's going to be great. I'm really excited about this. And for the sake of nothing else, I'm calling it NFL Preview 09.
NFL Preview 2009.
And if you're watching this, there's surely going to be a lower third that says NFL Preview 09. I'm going to work on that.
And I'm going to do that every episode, just so you know.
Oh, that's fine. Branded it. All right, so the first division we're going to do this week is the AFC East. And you asked me why, and it's because somewhere I know I've seen several websites organize it East, North, South, West. And it's usually AFC then NFC.
Whatever. So that works.
We're doing the East. We're doing the East.
So go ahead and kind of lead through the format.
Okay, so we're going to talk about. We're just going to do a brief this is what happened to the team in the offseason, notable changes, and additions to the roster, departures, coaching staff, even if there is such a thing. This week there isn't, but there will be.
There will be.
Probably on Friday there will be. And then we're going to pick our favorite team, our favorite to win the division, our dark horse to win the division, the cellar dweller, which is the team that will obviously finish last, an MVP and least valuable player of the division, and we're even going to give order and records.
Yes, we
just
are.
So that
we can
6 months you can tell me how wrong I was. So we're going to start with your team, sir, the New England Patriots, and I'm sure you have at least something to say about this.
So do you want me to talk about personnel or just about
anything? I mean, okay. Well, first off, what's the biggest news? Obviously, it's Brady's going to come back.
Brady is back. Yes.
Brady's back. His knee seems to be healthy.
Yes.
So we should be expecting him on opening day.
Yeah. So what I'll say about the Patriots is, and this is not just because they're my favorite team, but what I think about the Patriots is the Patriots as of this decade seem to be the team that are always. They're going to be the favorite to win the division. They're going to do this. They're going to do that.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm going to make a statement and say I don't think this year's any different. I think that
it's going to take a while before they are going to not be the favorite, I think.
It's going to take a while for that sports circle to get them to the bottom.
Yeah, and even some would even argue that, I mean, without as long as Belichick's there, they won't ever fall. But then again, I mean, actually, if you want to talk about big departures, the biggest departure was probably Pioli. That Pioli left.
Oh, yep.
And he was kind of, I mean, him and Bill were like the two.
And what's his face? McDaniels.
Oh, yeah, and Josh McDaniels, the offensive coordinator.
Did I really just say what's his face?
Yeah, what's his face? What's his face McDaniels. Yeah, but in my opinion, when you've got Tom Brady and Randy Moss and Wes Welker and that offensive line.
Well, and
here, throw the ball to Randy.
Well, and what's interesting is one could argue that some of their biggest losses in the last decade has been the year they lost Cornell and what's his face?
Weiss.
Thank you.
Charlie Weiss.
And they still bounce back from that. So I don't think that. Yeah. Do you think that? I don't see that being.
I think Tom Brady's one of those few quarterbacks that really is almost like a coach in the field. And he's always making adjustments, and he can run that offense better than anybody can run that offense, in the league. Probably, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, McDaniels is gone. Oh well. Obviously, I think the big thing that they got was obviously they traded Castle and Vrabel. That's your backup quarterback.
Rodney Harrison's gone.
Yeah, Rodney Harrison retired, and you also have the 33-year-old linebacker. When you have a bunch of young guys, actually, I think it's not going to hurt them whatsoever that Vrabel's gone. So really, I just see them getting younger, and I just see a lot of positives here. The only thing I'm a little concerned about the defense, but that
seems like it's been a concern for them for the last couple of years.
4 years, yeah. So I mean, it's there. That's part of it. Now, and here's the funny thing. So we have all these complimentary things to say about the Patriots. The rest of the division is going to be all negative. So next you have the Buffalo Bills. What's the
big news? They signed Terrell Owens.
Terrell Owens is back in Buffalo. I like it. T.O. in Buffalo. Yeah, like that.
It sounds like some fancy
yeah.
TV show.
He's gonna steal that now. Watch. He's gonna have some big article about himself. He's gonna write or something.
We're gonna sue him for rights.
And here's the thing. I think this is now the Buffalo. They're pretty much the same team.
They are pretty much the same team.
Except they've got T.O. now as opposed to not having him before. Which, I mean, obviously, I think both of us do not frown upon that decision to sign him. But maybe you don't, but I do. I think that's not going to help you that much as you hope.
No, it's not. We agree on that.
So, and the only other thing I can think of that's changed for them is they traded their left. I think they either traded him or they released him and he got picked up by somebody else. Their left tackle. And from what I read about this guy, he's kind of one of those underrated stud left tackles that he's actually really good, but nobody notices him because he's not a name, I guess. And he's on the Eagles now. And never underestimate how much a left tackle or any lineman can affect your team.
Yep.
So I mean, I think that's big, and I think that's going to hurt them, which is a shame because they don't have much room to get hurt anymore.
I feel like
they actually were the last team in that division last year, even though they had a 7-9 record.
Yeah. I actually feel like the Bills are just very similar to our discussion that we just had about the Bills. The Bills are very.
Yeah, and I think the rest of the division is, which brings me to my other team, which is the Miami Dolphins.
How soon we forget they're defending division champions.
Oh, I don't forget. I just think they overachieved last year. And that's actually reminds me of a really funny and stupid Joey Porter quote, which he said. Apparently, I mean, the big thing that all the writers and everybody are picking right now is they're basically predicting that the Miami Dolphins will not repeat as AFC East champions. And his whole thing is, you can't pick us not to win the championship because nobody's beaten us yet. But
I didn't hear that. Wow.
But I mean, it's kind of like, but that's why it's a prediction because it hasn't happened yet. The guy's arrogance.
See, you said this in pre-show and before we started taping, and I'll agree with you. I do think they overachieved last year, and they went 11-5, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, they went 11-5, and come on, won the division because of tiebreakers and all this other stuff.
Yes.
And you said you said before the show, they pretty much have the same team, and so my thoughts are, I feel like there's another team in that division that got better, and if they stayed the same, they're not going to repeat.
Well, and my feeling is I would say that at least 3 wins of theirs last year were accounted for by virtue of they snuck up on a lot of teams using the Wildcat formation.
Yep.
And everybody uses it now. Everybody knows about it now, and a lot of people know how to defend it now, and especially Belichick. He will have learned. I guarantee you. He spent this offseason.
That burned them, didn't it? Didn't that burn the Patriots?
That was the first game they used it. Was against the Patriots in Week 3.
And everybody was like,
"Oh my God, the Dolphins completely destroyed them." Next time they played, Patriots had them in hand easily. So I mean,
give them an offseason.
Give them an offseason. I mean, Belichick. In fact, you might even see Belichick's team running that himself this year. So it's like
that would not surprise me, by the way.
Yeah. So it's like, seriously, I have a hard time seeing this team repeat, and they still. I mean. Okay, so Chad Pennington had this great comeback season last year as the quarterback. How long is he going to be able to stay there? So every time he's gotten the comeback player of the year award 3 times in his career. How many times can one person come back?
Ask Favre that.
No, but I don't think he's ever won.
Actually, that'd be a pretty good segue right there.
Yeah. As far as coming back or leaving teams, there's the Jets. And their big departure was they didn't get rid of Favre. Favre retired, and they chose to release him, and now he's probably going to come back and sign with the Vikings. So, they pretty much just released him.
Yeah.
But obviously,
the
big gain was trading up to get Sanchez. Everything else is pretty much the same. Defense is the same pretty much. Defense has a lot of young guys, so there could be some involvement there. And also, they signed Bart Scott,
Oh, yeah.
And a new coach. So there's actually a lot of change going on there.
Oh, yeah, we said there weren't going to be coaching changes this week.
I thought I was wrong. I forgot about that. There was Rex Ryan? Yeah.
Rex Ryan, yeah.
Rex Ryan is the coach now.
Once again, my thing to that is just kind of, yeah.
Well, the